Thank you, everyone, for attending this meeting. Particularly wish to thank Sheila and Jill for getting this agenda together. We'll call the meeting to order at 10:30. Disclosure of pecuniary interest. Is there any member of this committee with the pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? Seeing no hands, we'll go on to additions of the agenda. The recommendation is before you. Are there any additions that this committee would like to put on there? Seeing none, the mayor will take the opportunity to add a few things. I'd like to give a verbal report on some meet and greet and observations I've made in regard to economic development with several individuals this week. And I would like to include that, and I can do that under new business. Could I have a recommendation that the agenda be accepted as printed with the inclusion of the mayor's verbal report? Thanks, Dennis, very much. Thank you. And a seconder for that? Mel, thank you. Discussion? All in favor? Carried. Delegations and presentations. We're very pleased to see Denise here today. She is certainly an advocate for Wardsville and Ward 3. And not only that, but the whole municipality, and some of her work has expanded far beyond that. Denise, it's a pleasure to have you here. And I understand you have a delegation. You're representing your Wardsville. Please take the floor. Chair, delighted to have you.
Hey, thank you, everybody. And thank you for inviting me today. And this is quite an exciting morning for me. I have been busy taking on another hat in my life, and I created a website for Wardsville called Your Wardsville. So I'll be able to give you a little look at that sometime. You should let me know how much time I have this morning and maybe put a time clock on me, because I can get rambling on and on and on. And so I don't want to do that.
How about 10 minutes? Will that do it?
That's awesome. So over the number of years, I'm not sure if many of you know, I work with Mary Simpson on quite a few projects, and one of those included the Barn Quilt Trails, which is now expanded and is expanding this summer over Canada wide. And in this process, we have been using a product called Google Workspace. And this year, this is only going to be available for pay per use or under a nonprofit organization. So Mary and I look to find somebody to take us under the umbrella, and the Glencoe and Historical Society, District Historical Society, has taken on that role. So they are going to be providing the Google Workspace of products for small, nonprofit, unregistered organizations to use this. I guess I would call it an office. So in the same breath, last fall, we're nearing the end of what we've been doing with lockdown, and I don't know my neighbors. I see many new people walking around in Wardsville, and I feel ashamed that I have not met them yet. So we had a quick meeting in September in Little Kin Park, and after that, we relaunched Your Wardsville, which was a Facebook page. Started out with approximately 30 people. We're up to 230 people that have signed on now. And we started to get organized. And at this time, I have a core member of volunteers of 15 people, between 13 and 15 people. So what we are doing is creating a community organization. And
to understand you much better, if I can get familiar with the way you talk. I need your permission to help.
Somebody is talking to me here. Okay, I'm going to go on. So this morning, I have the host is disabled participant screen sharing. Am I allowed to screen share?
Yeah. Jill, is that okay? Sheila, you don't have no issues with that? No, I don't see any. Yeah, you bet.
Okay, I can go ahead. All right, thank you. So, okay. I'm not too sure. Maybe somebody can guide me here.
Sure, Denise, I can. So if you go to the bottom of the screen you're on with the Zoom, there's green share screen little icon with an arrow on it.
Okay,
Looks like you've done it.
all right, I found it here. Okay, so
Good.
I'm just showing you
There you go.
just
Perfect.
a quick glance at the website, and it's called Your Wardsville. We have community calendar that has a lot of events posted in and around Southwest Middlesex and including Lambton County. There's access for residents, members, and there's a core group log on. And that will be all the back end of our office that we're going to have. The residents will be able to see local programming that's being done by us in the community, as well as programs that are offered to Wardsville through Southwest Middlesex. Plus, they will have the link to the Southwest Middlesex calendar and facility rental. We have, I'm not sure how fast this is going to go here. We have a form where people can find out why they need to join Your Wardsville. There's forms at the bottom for them to fill in. There's a member login. And we believe in transparency. So anybody that's logged on registered with their email will be able to access the agenda and meeting notes for all of Your Wardsville, our financial statement, as well as our membership, how many members we have. We'll have a section for food where people can suggest places in the municipality where they've had great food to eat. And we will have a spot where churches and all of our volunteer organizations are putting on food events for fundraising. That's very important that we have that notified on here. We have a specific event and community calendar. As you can see, this was some posters that were developed for last Sunday, the garage sale, plus the upcoming block party. And everybody will be able to access that. A section for kids. There was even a Google map made with all the local splash pads that we have within a half-hour radius of the area. Fundraising, feedback, community links, all about Wardsville. Here are, we made a specific member image here, and all of the members that we have in the core Wardsville, they'll be able to access, people will be able to access via email. So today is day one. So I'm a little bit nervous here showing this off. As I said, I'm a retired nurse. I'm not a website developer. And I'm going to be expecting a lot of feedback and things that we are missed, or one of the things is that I have to have a community link on our about page. I'm going to bring you back there. Our mission, aim, and value statements, we want it to be very reflective of what that is for Southwest Middlesex, our village identity. A nod and a recognition to our First Nations people is here as well. And then a thank you to the Glencoe District Historical Society and Creative Communities for helping us accomplish this. Now, the joy of all of this that we're hoping, this is a pilot project. I'm going to stop screen share. This is a pilot project. Your Wardsville is not a pilot project, but the website and the online virtual office space of Google products is a pilot. Mary Simpson and I and Ayako McDonald will be assessing this over the next year. And if this is successful, even if it's only 6 months away, we will provide this service to everybody, all nonprofits, unorganized groups in the municipality. And they will be able to copy that website that I made and make it fit the way they need to for their community. And Mary Simpson and I see a need for this with churches going, not too many service clubs anymore. We're looking to find a way to help the community projects get organized, and maybe to encourage our 30 to 40-year-olds to get on board with, a way to have meetings and have access to documents, a lot easier than having paper trails. So I have to give a big nod to Mary Simpson for helping do this. We've been a great partner team over the years. And that's my speech. If anybody has any questions, it's www.yourwardsville.ca, and everybody's more than welcome to go on there, make comment. And actually, we want all the comments and critique and criticism that we can get so that we can make this work. There will be
Denise.
a space for business to advertise in the near future. I just can't figure out how to get that out there right now, or have the time to call business.
Denise, that was an exceptionally interesting report, and we certainly wish you luck. I'm sure there'll be some questions or inquiries on that. Committee, certainly, if you'd like to pose a question through the chair. Mark, any question there? Do I see your hand up? Nope, just shaking. You're fixing your watch. Dennis, you're okay? Yes, Mel, go ahead.
Through the chair, Denise, who actually developed the website?
I did.
Did you two?
I did. And Ayako McDonald launched it for me. I have been teaching, she has been teaching me how to use it appropriately. And actually, Mel, it wasn't that hard to use. And it's a Google site. They give you templates that you can use, or you can create your own, which I did.
Thank you.
Pretty easy.
Well, that is good. Thank you, Mel. Any other questions? Yes, Sheila, please go ahead.
I guess I'd just like to say thank you to Denise for coming today, and we're hoping that this can be a really cooperative venture between all of us. We're going to try to work together to share information and make everything a success and a positive movement forward for everybody.
Thanks, Sheila.
Yeah, no, thank you. Denise, very impressed. Just to coin a phrase and perhaps edit it somewhat, ask not what your municipality can do for you, ask what you can do for your municipality. And you certainly have done that. It's really encouraging, and I can see the benefit that others could have from the same footprint, Appin, Melbourne, Middlemas, with something like that as well. Yeah, go on. You finish your statement there.
That's exactly what Mary and I have thought. It's just like once the office is opened, especially for the core group of Your Wardsville, it's a whole platform of documents and templates, and the ability for 15 members to help to post events on a community calendar. it's just, we're able to have our own logo and branding, even though we're under the umbrella of the Glencoe District Historical Society. So we're able to put the spin on how we feel in our community. So, I tried to look for some type of a way that it was reflective to Southwest Middlesex, because I do like the new branding and logo. And I had created a very old-fashioned grandma website, and I seen Southwest Middlesex new logo, and I thought, what the heck? I've got to make it look more modern and more inviting. So I'm very thankful to the new logo for helping direct me into another color palette. And it was double the work, but it worked out. It's worked out pretty good, I think. So anybody can join Your Wardsville. It's a free membership. There will be a dividing line between membership and the core group, of course. There will be things in the background that the regular membership won't be able to access. So we're very happy about it.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Yep. So
Last call for questions. Well, yes, Mike, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. This is slightly off topic, but it's considering that we're discussing Wardsville, I just thought I'd ask. I just wondered if maybe Jill could give us an update on access to Little Kent Park. I've had quite a few residents contacting me about wanting to have events up there and possibly even do some fire training exercise. And I just wonder if I could get some clarification on, because it's still gated off with the COVID sign.
Yep. Yes, of course, it is a fluid motion. And as you realize, we have some searching to do on those grounds as well. Jill, can you advise Councillor Scholz on that?
I didn't mean to take you off guard here, Jill.
No, it is. Yeah, we'll do it quickly though. It may not be a wholesome answer, and if it's not, it'll have to be, you'll have to communicate that privately to administration, and they'll give you a whole report. But perhaps we can give you a very brief Coles Notes version of it, Mike. Jill, are you prepared to do that, or would you rather process it? But if you can give us perhaps just some introductory remarks on the subject, and then we can move on from there.
Certainly, through you as the chair, Mayor Mayhew, the operations department is going to be providing just an overall update. And that's one of the items that should be included in a report to council in the near future. If there's still a sign associated with COVID, we can likely remove that. But as the mayor has noted, there's still some investigative work to be done on the site as associated with making sure that we know exactly where the burial sites are before we can really make any changes and adjust things there. So that's why it's closed off, so that we're not driving over those sites. And those companies are few and far between and have been a little bit difficult to get a timeline from them. We had expected it to be this past winter, but that didn't come to fruition.
Thank you, Jill.
Great, thank you.
Thank you for your inquiry, Mike. And yeah, as a result of the residential school issue, that seismic investigation is very busy right now. Okay, well, we can move on from there. We can leave Wardsville at the present, but take with you, Denise, our good wishes, and you certainly have people that can help you in any regard. Don't feel to hesitate at all to reach out to your ward representatives or your mayor at any time. And we can certainly convey any questions you have to get a full answer and background information from staff if it's required. And please don't hesitate to not pick up the phone or send us a note.
okay, thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome.
Have a great day. I'm going gardening.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
What I'll ask the committee to do, I'd like a motion to receive the verbal report from Denise Corneal in regard to My Wardsville organization and its website. Would someone move that be received for information. Councillor Scholdice, Councillor Choi. Questions? All in favor that the delegation's presentation be received for information? Carried. Council, we have a few items in the consent agenda before us. Five items here. And I'm going to go through these and give you the subtitles. If for some reason the member of the committee would like to discuss this in more detail, please raise your hand. And of course, if any action is required on any of these, we'll certainly move it to new business as well. But feel free to interrupt the chair with just raising your hand and we'll move on. 5A, March 10th, 2022, Economic Development Minutes. 5B, Toronto Star article, Official Plan Land Use Limits. 5C, Western Ontario Caucus 2022 Priorities. 5D, My Main Street, Goose Chase. Yes, Amy, would you like to comment on that? And then if you wish, we can move that to new business as well. Yeah, are you on?
I would like to move it to new business.
Okay, we'll do that. Okay. Very well, I made notes of that. And 5E, Community Futures Middlesex Invitation. Very well, committee, may I have a motion to receive the consent agenda from 5A through 5E as information, with the exception of 5D, My Main Street, Goose Chase, be removed for discussion in new business. May I have a mover for that, please?
So
Dennis
moved.
Harmsworth, yeah. And seconded by Krista Kyle, yeah. Last call for discussion. All in favor, please raise your hand. Carried. And Amy, will allow you to introduce 5D under new business. Staff reports. Sheila, economic development update. If you could provide that to us at this time, we certainly would appreciate it. And we're making good time. You take all the time necessary.
Okay, thank you. I'm not going to spend too much time on the first few slides of the report. Basically, we've just, as of May 31st, that was our the end of our original 2-year commitment to economic development. And I think we can all agree that we've made some pretty great strides with economic development over the last 24 months. And there's quite a list of accomplishments that we've made and some ongoing activities, and there's much more to come. We've got a lot of development around the community that's also there as well, and there is even more that we could add to that list. So we are growing as well, and that's going to continue for quite a while, I think, from the sounds of our planning department. So that's a great thing. One thing that I would like to focus on is a grant opportunity came up recently, and it's for tourism recovery. And we took the opportunity to submit an application for that. Our original plan was to put much more into it, but we didn't have enough time to prepare for it. So what we had originally thought of was to do our downtown plan through that program, but it's more extensive than we anticipated. So we dropped that portion of it. And what we've actually applied for at this time is for building a stock of local photography and videography to kind of move forward in our promotion of our community, and to really to kind of help preserve our history as well. There's a big component with that. So over the last while, I've been in discussions with photographers and videographers. We have been sort of linked with the county as far as videographers. And we did have our certified site video done by an award-winning videographer, and I did reach out to her, and she was so excited that we approached her again for this opportunity. So with the Ontario Southwest Tourism Relief Fund, it's very hard to say. I always struggle over it. One of their goals is to encourage tourism through all of the seasons in Ontario. That is very key to them, actually across Canada. And so we've put in an application to do a series of videos and photography to cover all of the seasons and what we could offer for tourism, and to help us eventually to put quick snippet videos onto social media and onto our website and link that with the county as well. It would also help us to build some tourism trails, which is something that was part of our strategic document for the next over 5 years. So that's moving forward on that aspect. And back to the videographer that we've approached, she was so excited about coming to Southwest Middlesex again. She is from the area. She's now she's based in Toronto because she's so busy right now. She's working all across Canada, but she actually cut her proposal by 20% just to be a part of this. So I'll give you a little background of this because I think it's something we should talk about as the committee. So the upper end cost of the work to do, like fully inclusive, would be around $11,000. And if we obtain the Ontario grant, which we may not know until the end of June or even early July, we could receive 75% of that cost, which would bring our costs down to under $3,000. So it is quite a large amount. It can do many, many things for us. And if we don't get the Ontario grant, if we're unsuccessful in that, I understand that there are a lot of applications and they're very creative applications. If we don't obtain that, we would have the opportunity to apply through Middlesex County Tourism Funding. And that would provide a maximum of $2,500 towards that project. And there may be opportunity for more funding through other methods. There's possibility of even breaking that into phases if we ended up with the county one. If we go with the Ontario one, it would all have to be done by the end of the year. So there is some room for adjustment of the cost. A big part of it is for if we wanted to have music in the background of any videos that we had. So there's a music rights component to that. So there's different aspects that we can kind of pull from it all if that doesn't fall within our budget eventually. So yeah, I do think that it would be a good project moving forward. And if the committee were to support something like this, then we would have to also approach council as well. So does anybody have any questions about that aspect?
Well, thank you, Sheila, and we certainly will entertain those questions. Krista, please go ahead.
Thank you. I remember at our council meeting recently, there was discussion about our branding exercises and how we might roll it out and whether or not there would be funding available for this. With this, I'm assuming this would be a component of helping roll out our branding exercise, getting the brand out there and using it as an economic development tool. And if we could get the grant, that's exactly, I think, what council was hoping for. Is that your perspective as well, Sheila?
Yes, it is. And it's not just to do with the branding. There's so many more aspects to having that bank of photography and videography. We're probably one of the only communities that doesn't have that available. And I think that we could very clearly showcase some of our hidden gems like Skunk's Misery, our Big Bend Park. We've got a national park with the monument out on number 2 highway. Longwoods Road, sorry. And, there's just little things that we could really promote. We could even put, Sundays at the station would be there'd be a huge benefit there as well. It's something that we've never done. We've never done any professional photography. We could use them up on our banners. We could use them on advertising for our community. It's endless what we could do with it. And I think sharing it with the Historical Society is a good component as well to preserve our historical aspect of this. Yeah, many uses.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, and we could even in regard to Denise's presentation on our website, we can share those images. I think it'd be good. Grant funding is certainly very important in the conversation, and I'm sure that to the extent to which we become engaged in this exercise is somewhat dependent on the grants we received, but no one has a crystal ball on that, but we certainly have been successful to date. And we know that when those applications are submitted by you, Sheila, we know that they're submitted very well, and cross our fingers. Any other comment? Yes, Doug, please go ahead, followed by Rick.
Thank you. Through you, Chair, to Sheila. I like the idea of the music in the background of the videos. Was that cost going to be included in that 11,000 that you mentioned, or is that over and above?
Through you, Mayor. Yes, it is included in that initial quote to have that in the background. So it's not an extra cost.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, Rick, please go ahead. Question? Well, you got to unmute yourself. Yep. Hit your microphone there. Where'd you go?
I think he hit his video.
Okay. Yeah, Rick, if you can hear me, you hit. Yeah,
The button right beside the video.
Yeah, well, I think we got you now, Rick.
Anyways, I didn't realize I was on mute. Sheila, are you looking for the recommendation from this committee to council to support this idea?
Through you, Mayor. Yeah, I think that would be beneficial at this point. So we would prepare a report, and it potentially could go, is it next week is a council meeting?
I would make that recommendation or move that recommendation.
Yep. Okay, I'll note that. We can proceed with that formality now. Rick, I did have that in my notes that we deal with the submission of the report when Sheila was done, but the chair will take a seconder from that motion now, and then we can go on with discussion. Mel, thank you very much for seconding that. It's moved by Rick Cal, seconded by Mel Monez for the scribe. And before I call the vote, we're going to just allow any further questions or comments from Sheila to commence. Thank you, Sheila. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I think I'm fairly complete in what I was going to say. I appreciate the support of that program, and we would be looking for some input from the members to things to highlight, I guess, if it does move forward.
Okay. Just as chair with the recommendation on the floor and it being second, Sheila, Jill, and you might be able to help me with this if you could, please, that we recommend to council going forward to this movement. Is there anything in there that's conditional upon a funding application be successful? Or how would that be worded that I don't want this to go to council just with an $11,000 price tag, that it will be conditional upon funding of some sort. Is that in there? It can be. Okay. Thank you very much. Your nod is all I need, Jill. Thank you. So we're not going out on a limb unless we know we can get funding, and it's certainly a requirement, and everything council approves has to be within budgetary aspects. And I'm sure Councilor Bartlett feels the same. Okay, last call for questions, committee. I'll call the vote. All in favor? Opposed? None. Unanimously carried. Sheila, thank you very much for that.
You're welcome. So I guess then, as far as my report, if we're ready to move on, I also included Goose Chase as part of my report for discussion purposes. I don't know a lot about the program. I reviewed it fairly quickly, but I thought it might be something really fun for our community to do. Endless possibilities with it, as far as what you might do as a game. So it could be a get active promotion. It could be something to showcase our little known spaces, even showing off our pets. We're all pretty proud of our pets. It could be something during tartan days, which would probably tie in well if we wanted to do some support through a prize package, maybe get the businesses together to do something to award a prize, or just having people doing something silly, safe but silly, and just to promote fun.
Yes, I see some questions here. Krista, please go ahead.
In last year, we did the Christmas tour. And when I looked at this and I opened it up, it talked about different challenges and how you could take pictures in different locations and get credit and points for it. And I wondered if this is something we could also add on to the Christmas tour that might make the balloting process a little bit easier, you know, taking out some of that, having to have ballots at every location, printing them off, cutting it up, still encouraging folks to get out, but in a more digital way.
Yeah, okay. Food for thought. Any comments on that, Sheila? And Amy, we know that you have interest in this as well from going through that consent agenda, so please pop into the discussion if you so wish.
Yeah, I think myself, that's a great idea. We're fortunate through the Main Street program, we can participate in this for free. There is normally a charge for Goose Chase for participants. So if we can work with everybody to make a successful little game, that's wonderful. It can even be used for fundraisers and community events other than that type of thing.
Any questions? Yes, Amy, please go ahead.
Thank you. Through you to Sheila, I think this is a fantastic idea. I think it sounds very fun. I went through and created my own game just to kind of test it out. You can alter the questions to be specific
Amy's having
for
a little...
attractions in your area. I think it's a great idea to tie it in. Am I coming through?
Yeah, you're okay. You're breaking up a little, but we're
Cutting up a
getting
little
it.
bit.
We're getting it. Go ahead,
Okay.
Amy.
I think it's a great idea to tie it into the Christmas tour, just to lessen that ballot confusion. I think it's I feel like we should move forward with it.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. And Amy, it was somewhat broken up and delayed, but we certainly got the message from you, Amy's support for that. And I know connectivity problems is sometimes a challenge at home. Sheila, yeah, well, go ahead, Krista. You asked your question first. Yeah.
Thank you. With that in mind, I'd like to make the motion that we recommend the Goose Chase as a way to incorporate economic development and growth in our community. And we make the recommendation, if we have to take it to council, we do. It sounds like there's no budget associated with it, so that's a positive, but yeah, I make the motion.
Okay, thank you. So for economic development and fun, no problem. We can do that. Okay, is there a second for that? And we'll continue the discussion. Amy is seconding that. And we'll certainly continue on with a few questions on this. If the chair could respectfully ask the question to Sheila and perhaps Jill, if she could put on her ears on this too. The administration of this would be under whom is what it would obviously take some abilities and some time. Sheila, what do you recommend in that sense? Is it part of the job function of the economic development staff, or will there be committee members involved in this? What do you vision?
I know that based on the fact that the municipality gets it for free, that we would have to basically be the host, but we can have people work within it on our behalf. So if there was a community member that wanted to take that on, we could probably work that through. Or my thoughts were that we could probably have our recreation coordinator potentially do some work with it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
we could have anybody within the office do it for sure.
That's good. Often we need your support on that. And it doesn't go unnoticed, but the question had to be asked. Yes, Mel, please go ahead.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Rick, but this sounds like a very good application for the Community Cares Committee as well, since they do quite a bit of competitions or have done quite a bit of competitions in the past. So I can see this expanding.
Well, I think that you're absolutely right, Mel.
Yep, yeah, that's good. No, it's becoming a digital world, and that's how people and it appeals to the demographic that I think we're in need of, a younger demographic, and I think it's an excellent idea. Last call for questions. Okay, the chair will call the vote. That we're recommending that this to council, that it be adopted, and that members of the community will be asked to help, and that recreation and facilities staff will be the guiding light on it, so to speak. Yes, Krista, please, and Rick, followed by Rick.
No, I was
Okay,
waiting
all
for
right.
the vote.
Preparing to vote.
Okay, all in favor? Please raise your hand. It's carried unanimously. Okay.
All right, and
Shoot.
the next item is recognizing any new businesses and business anniversaries. We had an anniversary notification brought to us, and we really don't have a process for dealing with that. We also discovered right then that we really don't have a formal process for acknowledging new businesses. And I know that the mayor has pretty much taken this aspect on for new businesses, and I just wondered if you would mind just telling everyone sort of how you go about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm just hoping that maybe we can have a formal process moving forward, just so that we'll just write it down basically.
Yep. Great. Yes. Primarily, we welcome new business, and I just want to advise Sheila, and I know she's aware of it, that where many business communities have shrank during COVID-19, our business communities have actually expanded. I endeavor to take a drive through the entire municipality once a week, both rural and the hamlet areas as well. Just snapping a few pictures that I send on to staff at times, or issues, and I always have an eye open for something of change. And the most recent two would be two new businesses that were in Melbourne. There's a gift store there, consignment goods, that we've sent an acknowledgement welcome. We're very pleased that you're part of the Melbourne business community, and some flowers were sent there. And then there's a little electrical store that opened up as well, that is a full-time retail, and I see people going out of there and coming out with bags, so I know they're selling some product out of there. And they're the kind of a mini hardware in Melbourne on the corner. And I didn't think flowers were kosher for the proprietor or the nature of the business. So we went to In a Jam, and we know that's on the other side of our boundary, but those people are part of the Southwest Middlesex family, the proprietors. So we sent some jams and stuff like that to them, and there's very much appreciated. We get acknowledgements back from both. The other one would be Cauldron Cannabis, that was recently came to Glencoe, and we don't miss any, I don't think, but it's kind of a public relations thing. We certainly welcome them to Main Street. We have had some visions of vacancy, and we still have through some of the business districts. And of course, with vacancies, you get dirty windows, you get unshoveled sidewalks, and there's some of the attributes that go with the building not being occupied. if there is a merchant in there, the sidewalks are shoveled, the windows are clean, there's some life that's portrayed on the street, and it's certainly, we appreciate that. The committee, what's your flavor on this? Would you like to see a policy that we can move forward on this and continue that? And I guess it would be done in a legal sense if we had that policy. I think this is a part of the budget. I think there's a small part budget. I shouldn't say it's not being done under the rug. There is a little bit of budget for that, welcoming that, and we find pots to take that money out of. Yes, Mike, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. I'm just wondering where ratepayers would go about finding this information if they were interested as well. Will it be put on the website or information put out in the council agendas?
Yeah, in regard to receiving, in regard to a new business, I guess it's up to their own marketing efforts on that business, but we certainly can. It could be, for true exposure, there could be a welcoming part. I'm sure that could be part of, it wouldn't be a council issue. I would not think we'd want to discuss that. We certainly would welcome it on behalf of the municipality through our website, things of that nature. It's, I guess it's the responsibility of any proprietor to market his own business, but it's certainly our business to put out a welcome mat to them. And I see no problem with that we could no doubt use the municipality's marketing facilities as an acknowledgement of their presence. It also too, the thing I think that is not being spoken about here, and I think is very, very important, is that businesses change hands, and we're seeing more of that. Commercial venues have suddenly become of interest to people. And I'm not sure whether there's a clear policy on that. The most recent one of that would be the pharmacy in Glencoe, where the operation changed hands. And in a case like that, we send a small token of our appreciation for their investment, and they are investing substantial amounts of money coming to Southwest Middlesex, and an acknowledgement that they're welcome is very well received from them, I can assure you. And they all of a sudden feel like they are part of the community and they're being noticed. So Sheila, you may have to take me by the hand on that, but in regard to new business and new business owners, that's something that should be perhaps brought into this discussion. I think I've done enough talking. I'm going to let the committee add to this. Rick, go ahead.
50 years ago or whatever, when I left Glencoe, I think the businesses in Glencoe used to have a business license. And I don't really know what that meant as far as that. I don't believe it was very expensive at all. But I wonder if there was a token registration like that so that the office would be aware of these new businesses that are setting up, and then we wouldn't for sure miss them.
Yep. It's there may be that aspect. We're not that big a municipality that anyone that's observant certainly sees new businesses, but there are some businesses online too as well, and we have to maybe clarify that as well. Jill, have you got any input on that you could answer risk questions in terms of a formal registry? I'm not aware of one existing, but is there?
So businesses can register, but it's not a licensing. The municipality doesn't license any of these types of businesses other than, I think, paintball. Paintball requires a license. But I think, and Sheila can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that we've partnered with Middlesex counties as a way for people to register their business so that directory is in one spot. But that does require businesses to know about it and then get registered themselves. That's certainly one way to get information about new businesses. I think, though, we're also talking about recognizing businesses that have been in the community for a certain period of time as well. Is that right, Sheila?
Yeah, that all sounds correct. I think if we have some sort of a formal process, it doesn't have to be necessarily a permit, but if we can work a way to encourage businesses to register, then it helps us to maintain our current business directory that we have, although it's not currently online with us. Then if we have that information, we can work with the county to make sure that businesses are taking that opportunity to get promoted. There's many things that having some type of a registry system can really help us with.
Yep.
And I think as far as welcoming the businesses, I think that goes over extremely well. Everybody likes to be acknowledged, which is a great thing. And it helps us to get to know what is going on in our community, what types of businesses we have, what types of grant programs might help those businesses. There's so many aspects to it that, I'd miss too many right now just to throw them out there. But yeah, it's definitely something that we can include on our economic development page of the website. And I think that's probably the best place where we could put it. Just encourage people to register. But if we can provide some kind of acknowledgement and possibly a package could be developed from this whole thing where we have a welcome package on, what do you do with your garbage? What do you do with, all those different things, sort of learn how to work here within our municipality. So.
No, I find too, yeah, that acknowledgement to them, what I find too, when the new businesses that come in, not only, we try to acquire the gift, we give them from our municipality, always do that. But following that, if it's a new individual, I always make sure that I take them for a tour of Southwest Middlesex and buy them lunch or something like that as well. And I've done that recently to the pharmacist. I spent 3 hours with him driving around Southwest Middlesex and showing him the sites. And that they appreciate that. Yes, Phil, go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. I think as long as it's all the communication is done in that sort of welcoming, encouraging way, I would avoid language around registration and anything that might deem to be kind of required, regulatory, bureaucratic type of thing, because there are a lot of kind of hoops to jump through when you open up a business, that sort of thing. Something you might want to consider is putting in a little note when with property tax information each year for if you're a new business or if you know of a new business, we have this welcome package and we really want to support businesses, and just a little flyer that might go out with those notices. I'm not sure if you still get mailings on those or whether it's all electronic or not, but any type of municipal mail out, you could include that type of sort of welcome package on.
So without a recommendation being put down on the agenda before us, we will, I think what we are looking for here is to accept in principle that new businesses and businesses, what would be a suitable anniversary for a business? And we have to be careful here. Would we start at 10 years? Is that acceptable? Or would you want to go to 20? Duration of some businesses, if they can last a decade, is quite a milestone today. And I came from one that had 108 years. And you have to be silly to be on the street that long. But yeah, I think what would you represent? Phil, go ahead. Yeah.
I think 10 years is good. I guess something to consider. You don't need to answer right now, but with farm businesses, so be included in that.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, but, I'm thinking like people like the golf club in Wardsville have done just a stellar job of building that business, and I know that I think it's in the second generation now, And it would be interesting to know how many years that family has owned that business, and they certainly should be recognized from the municipality. If they hit that 10 or 20 years, it would be quite interesting. And I'm sure there's others, Winship Pools, things like that have been there a long time. You know, if they hit an anniversary like that, it would be interesting. And we've done that. If we see, speaking of Winship Pools, if there's an anniversary celebration that they market for, you know, come an open house, and Winship Pools had one on a particular anniversary, and there were flowers presented to them and things like that. So, yeah, I guess what we're looking for, Sheila, what would you recommend? Could you vocalize a recommendation that we can hear? And from there, I'm sure that we could. You're looking for recognition of businesses that are celebrating their 10th anniversary, recognition of businesses that have recently have changed hands to the new proprietor is one, and what else would you like in there? If this is going to go to council, I'd like to know what is going before council.
I think what my goal in this was to see what the committee felt about having such a formalized program, and we would work together, the staff would work together to build something to bring back to the committee based on this discussion, and then we move it forward to council after that if it was accepted.
Okay, so committee, we're looking for an acceptance in principle of recognition of businesses. We could go forth to advise, to recommend that staff proceed with a policy on recognizing businesses, events, and new businesses into our municipality, and await their report for the next meeting. Would you move that, Mike?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. And a seconder for that, Doug Bartlett. Thank you, Councillor Bartlett. Yeah, questions, any further questions? And as I say, this is kind of an acceptance principle for staff to move ahead. Yes, Amy, go ahead.
Thank you. I was wondering if we had anything, and this may be off topic a bit, any recognition for community organizations.
Yeah, that could certainly have the perhaps that could be recorded, that that interest may be gleaned. I'm not sure who it was. It may have been Councillor Scholdice or someone. The thing about farming is, you know, generally farmers don't celebrate an anniversary of their life on the farm, but there are certainly lots of agri-industries and things like that. And I'm not sure how agriculture will fit into this equation, but it's so important to Southwest Middlesex that it may have to be considered in some manner, because it's vital to our interests. And it may well be that might have to be taken in. Jill? Go ahead, Jill.
Thanks. Through you to Councillor Troy. So are you thinking of community groups that are like volunteer organizations? Yeah, okay. I would think it might be an okay idea to separate the economic development side and work maybe separately on some type of volunteer recognition. I think that's so important. I do think that in communities like ours, we're experiencing some volunteer exhaustion. So I'd be happy to have a chat with anybody, and certainly within this group as well. But I think that a volunteer recognition program might be just a little bit different than this. Same idea. Great to be recognized, and we do get a lot, and it does support businesses in some way and fashion when you have community groups that are helping to celebrate events on main streets, etc. I just wonder, it's harder to, you know, send flowers, or because it's just a group of people that come together. So that would be my thought, is that it just be, I think it's a great idea. I just wonder if it could be a little bit aside from this one.
Yep, just to further to Jill's comments, and I agree with Jill. Mel, I saw your hand up. You're next, okay? Just want to close that with Amy. Amy, volunteer organizations are exceptionally important, and I can assure you as mayor that they're not being forgotten. Jill and will know that recognition goes out annually to every volunteer organization in Southwest Middlesex, and I mean everyone from, and I think we have a database of those volunteer organizations that is kept up, that is edited annually, and Barb Pinnell is the individual I've worked with in the past on that, and more recently Melissa. But letters go out annually in early December to every organization, and they're not just copycat letters. Whatever the events of the day are, the letter reflects that, and any of the issues, successes, things like that. They're not copied on an annual basis. They're written, and literally from the Busy Bees in Appin to the Hammond Lodge in Warsville. Every organization is hit, and that letter goes out on behalf of council, administration, and staff. Literally every organization, and I think our mailing list is now nearing 60 organizations. That database is very important too. It's a great database that we can use. I know the fire department have even used it to accessing the names of volunteers that might help in a situation of disaster or something like that. So it's there, Amy. Mel, I'm sorry to keep you waiting on that.
Oh, no, actually, I have a very good example of what you're talking about. Al Schmeckenberger has been organizing the train station concerts for over 20 years. He was involved in it right from the beginning, and he has notified me recently that he's retiring from that committee and that function. So I was actually going to approach you, Al, about do we have some sort of certificate, plaque that we could present to him at one of the train station concerts to thank him for his years of service.
We do, and in answer to your question, Mel, we do that regularly. Even a recent memorial skate at the arena was done for Mitch Shear, and the individual who organized that, we made sure that they received a special recognition that they could frame, and the girls of the office and the office staff rather are excellent at this, and it was very. The recipient of that, it was very meaningful to the recipient, and we do that regularly. I've got a 100th birthday coming up pretty soon on an individual from Southwest Middlesex, so I'll be approaching staff on that as well. But yes, at all, and Mel, send me an email, and we can certainly look after that individual.
As another sideline and probably a challenge to this committee, a friend of mine from Rodney is a retired English teacher, and he has taken it upon himself to feature a business in the community, do a short write-up and put it into the local paper, the Chronicle, et cetera, et cetera. And that to me sounds like it has been extremely well received, both from the businesses and the community perspective. And it seems like an excellent idea for us as well to put on not only the local paper, but also the municipal website and have maybe a business of the month feature.
No, I think it's well put. There's many examples. I think Jill was very smart in bringing that forward, that we separate the volunteerism from the businesses. I think that's a totally different subject, and I appreciate that suggestion from her. Mel, there's tons of examples. Even the regeneration that served the meals during COVID-19, they have served over 16,000 meals. Okay, not 1,600, 16,000 meals. And some endorsement that they can hang on the wall or hang in their kitchen would be an admirable thing. And as Jill said, this volunteer organization are getting tired. Yeah, Jill, go ahead.
apologize to Sheila for this because I'm bringing this up out of the blue, but just in line with the conversation. So in the wearing her other hat as communications officer, Sheila does work on promoting businesses in that newsletter. Maybe an option is for some of the community volunteer groups to just give us a little snippet of their work, and perhaps that could be included once in a while as well in the newsletter. That might also help to foster new volunteers if people don't know that there's these type of organizations out in the community. So just a thought.
No, I think it's good. So accept in principle that we give a welcoming gift to new business, and that we recognize the volunteer community and promote their interests, and that staff develop a policy and bring it back for examination. I think we have a mover and a seconder for that. I'm going to call the last call for questions. I'd like to get you out of here by 12 o'clock. I'll call the question. All in favor that staff come back with a recommendation? Carried unanimously. Sheila, thanks very much. And Jill, thank you for your comments there. They're extremely valuable. Sheila, what else have you got there?
Okay, and I'll try to keep everything as short as I can moving forward because we are running short on time. Branding, just to let you know where we're at with that. Jill and I have been meeting with Mad Hatter regularly, so we're basically moving ahead with the rollout of the new logo, and we've updated some aspects of our day-to-day operations at this point. Social media, the website's coming soon. We've got several projects underway where that type of work is already included, so that is a no-cost situation. That's a real bonus. And we're finding that the logo has not been used in too many places where it's a physical issue. So that's a great thing. We've built a list of the things that potentially need to be changed over. Much of that is electronic, such as the agendas, reports, things like that. So email signatures, things that really don't cost very much, even considering staff time. I mean, there's really it's a very quick, it's done, it's over. So we do have other things that we're looking at that will be work plan changeovers, and a lot of those are in good order as well. So what we have is a stock of decals and things for equipment. So that supply is running down, and we'll start sort of replacing those things. We'll only replace where it does fall into the work plan at this point. We do have a lot of that still to talk about with Mad Hatter as well. So we are really focusing as well with Mad Hatter on preparing the necessary documents that go along with the branding, such as design guidelines, key messaging moving forward, and promotion ready materials are a few examples of those things. So there's still a lot to come with it. It is going to take a lot of time, and we are hearing very positive things. It's different. Like, people will call you and say positive things, but it's very rare when they will put it on social media. We're finding that there is a lot of positivity out there, but it's a very quiet positivity, and it's greatly appreciated. So I think that's all I have to say. Jill might want to add something from our discussions with Mad Hatter that I'm just trying to do this very quickly and get through. Jill, is there anything you'd like to add?
No, I think they've been excited to carry on with the work, and to have noted that usually the part that went public is just one piece of the work that they're doing for the municipality. So the work carries on, as Sheila has mentioned, and they've been great to work with. And I know she just got some of the information today. So yeah, we're excited about working with them, and I would agree. There's some change can be difficult, but I think we've heard some very positive things as well.
Yep. I can reiterate that, and just further to Sheila's comments, there's always a silent majority out there, and very often you don't hear from that segment. And of course, I know that some of the work we're not, I would hope we're not contemplating changing signage on water towers and things of that, and entrance signs and that, because that's a big deal money thing, and that will be part of discussions at future budgets and things like that. And we'll certainly need discussions and endorsement from council and recommendations from staff. So that's a subject we're talking. The digital transformation can be done cut and paste, and even someone with modest capabilities can do that. So we know this staff will do an excellent job. Thank you, Sheila. Any further questions on that? And Sheila, where are you in your reports now?
On my report, sorry, I'm
Branding,
sort of coming in.
Yeah. In branding, you've introduced several subjects to us, and is there anything else you would like to bring to the committee's attention? Or
I think the main thing from my report, I'm going to skip over 2022 events for this meeting. It's not anything urgent at this point, but if everybody wants to kind of think about anything that they might want to get involved in and be a part of, that would be good. We did unfortunately have the resignation of Harold Carruthers from the committee. I did try to encourage him to stay on because there's only 2 more meetings in this term of the committee. So today and again in September, we have another meeting, but he declined that. So I guess that if it is the committee's wish, that we can accept his resignation with regrets at this point.
okay, and we can do that. Yes. So on hearing that news, he's not only a good member of the committee, he's a good friend of mine personally, and I sincerely regret that circumstance from happening. Perhaps we will accept his resignation with regret, and instruct Sheila to perhaps send a letter of thank you for his participation in this, and wish him well in his endeavors with the Historical Society. Would someone be kind enough to move that? Mel, seconded by Mark McGill, that we accept the resignation of Harold Carruthers with regret, and that just a note of appreciation be sent to him. All in favor? Carried. And thank you, Sheila, and for expressing it as you did. It was good of you.
Oh, Harold's been a good part of the committee, and we appreciate everything he's done. Just quickly also on the committee structure. So this committee the term does end after the September meeting. So once the new council comes, they'll decide whether to proceed with the committee and how to proceed with the committee. And we talked last meeting about the potential structure of that committee, and the comments that I've received so far support going back to the original proposed committee structure, which the makeup would be, if I can find it here, and it's kind of where we're kind of moving to, but for the original membership was 4 members from Southwest Middlesex business sector, with consideration for key economic sector diversity and representation. So manufacturing, agribusiness, tourism, small business. We've got Phil who kind of covers agribusiness and tourism and small business all in one. So that's quite a feat. 2 Southwest Middlesex property owners. So we have those. 2 members of Southwest Middlesex Council and 1 member from the not-for-profit sector operating in Southwest Middlesex. So we have 3-4 members at least from the Lions Club. So, we've got, we're pretty close to doing that. So that's where the comments have come to me. And if there's any further comments, if people could get them in very soon, and then that will move forward to a recommendation for the new council in their new rules. And I
Okay,
think
well,
that would be everything for me.
Yep, thank you. And we certainly know Sang Jackson as well wears a couple of hats. So with two businesses in Southwest Middlesex, and she works throughout the municipality on that. Amy is herself is a business owner in Southwest Middlesex. And Rick certainly wears the hat of volunteerism. There's no question about that. So what's the best way to proceed in that? Rather than just accept your report, do you want, you're going to come back with a recommendation on structuring the Economic Development Committee in September? Sheila, do you want to get that formal on direction moving ahead? Do you want a recommendation to that effect, or just accept your report as presented?
I don't know if Jill wants to jump in on this and say a little bit about it.
Yeah, I think
Whatever
that'd be
her
great.
preference
I
is.
know committee restructuring is going to be a conversation that we're going to have with the new mayor, so of the next term. So Jill, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so the deputy clerk and I are working with the various department heads to make sure that we have a full picture for the new council on recommendations. And so we would appreciate any input the current council has, the current committee members, but we would like to see some more formalization and clarity around roles, responsibilities, et cetera, because I think that'll just help clean up a few things. And but I think that this kind of discussion with the Economic Development Committee, and this is the first term that I've been involved where we had this kind of a role. I think we've seen some really great things. Sheila noted at the top of her presentation, economic development has helped to become a real focus with this council, and I think that's terrific. I think the committee and the committee's work, as well as council support, have helped to move quite a number of initiatives forward. So I think folks should be proud.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, well, we'll have being on the reports. We certainly appreciate those statements from Sheila, and we'll look forward to that recommendation coming forth. And Jill, if the chair can exercise any formalities in terms of adoption, just to give me a hint. Sheila, you continue on. Anything else on your itinerary there?
No, I think that concludes my report for now, and just thank you to everybody for attending today and being a part of the last 2 years. It went quick.
Yep, it certainly did. Well, thank you very much. And Vinny, don't forget the invitation extended to you to put some ideas or thoughts, or express your thoughts to staff and regarding the structure of committees. And they will be bringing a report to council, and maybe an opportunity to give them some ideas. Well, thank you very much, Sheila. I don't want to cut you off. We're going to get out of here in time, I believe. And thank you once again for all you do. I know it's been a very busy year, and committee, don't forget that Sheila is only 20% time or something like that, to that nature. So she covers a lot of ground in the short hours that she works. And we certainly appreciate her work and networking with Jill and Greg on that. And we're moving ahead. So no other staff reports. Jill, you have nothing?
I think we're on to new business.
Okay. All right. New business. Amy, we've moved that. Are you satisfied that we have a Goose Chase looked after there? Are you? Okay. I didn't want to forget you. Any new business from committee members? Okay. Perhaps I'd just like to inform the committee of some of the networking I've done, and I'll focus on information that is currently available to the public. There are some things that I cannot express to you, but any of this can be found through the various media sources, the newspapers, Google search information. To be completely transparent, our staff are very good and they're very busy at handling the applications of development that are coming in. And my role as mayor is not to get involved in that procedure at all, nor do I want to. That's an engineering aspect in that. But what I do, I am a salesman and I try to sell this municipality to investors. And I always try to make a point of a meet and greet with some of these people over lunch. And I've just had a few, and I just want to apprise the community of some of that. Marco Mello is a developer that you will be familiar with on Tanya Drive. Marco owns several parcels of land in town. He is really excited about Southwest Middlesex. He likes the reception that he has received. He thinks that it is a great platform to market investment in housing in. And he has got land beside the Catholic Church that he is currently waiting on some information from CN and to proceed with. He's got the 17 condominium units across from No Frills. That's got the go-ahead. He wants to get his shovels in the ground today, but he is waiting for Hydro One and the availability of an excavation company. They're all busy. And so the holdup is not Southwest Middlesex municipal office or council. It's all the trades are busy, all the sub trades are busy, but he's very much looking forward to that. I had the pleasure of what I like about this guy is that he's also interested in some commercial investment. He's bought some C1 properties on Main Street. I had the pleasure of viewing the apartments above the cannabis store. And just absolutely gorgeous apartments. They're modern, they're clean, they're fresh, they're safe. Great balconies that overlook the alley at the back. Open concept. Everything from IKEA kitchens to great hardwood flooring and veneer flooring. So very pleased with that. And I had the pleasure of spending about 2 hours with him over lunch one day, and we went on that toot, and very, very pleased with that. And he is of Southwest Middlesex, and I think there's good things to come. I also want to thank staff, Greg Storms and Jill particularly, for arranging the arena tour the other day with council. Council had a hard hat and steel toe work boot peak at the arena, and of course, what the vision we took away from it and was you can see the changes and the openings of areas, corridors and rooms and window treatments and things like that, where it used to be an abundance of little cells of room. It just seems like it's going to be more open. There's going to be better flow of customer traffic and utilization of space. And it's far, far from being complete, but it did give us a window of opportunity to see how these guys are working. And I'll tell you, it is an extremely well-oiled machine that's doing this. These guys are clean, they're safe, they're extremely effective, and their sub-trades are as well. So we're very, very happy with that. Further to that, I had the pleasure of meeting with two gentlemen, Rob Poolney and Petra Van Diesch, on last Friday. These are the people that you've all heard rumors that, and there's been formal words out that the Raycrat farm on Parkhouse Road is sold to a propagation company, and this would be the pepper people that you were familiar with. They were the Vanderkoe's were the ones that I originally met. I went to their site in Shedden at one time to view I was invited to view their operation, and it was 45 acres under glass. It was state-of-the-art propagation. They do not sell fruit. They grow plants and they sell it to the fruit growers. They basically take a brick of, for lack of a better word, styrofoam. They put about an 18-inch wooden dowel in the middle of it, and in 10 days they have a plant that's 18 inches tall. They have approximately 30% of the Canadian market that they supply. This is a huge business. If you Google Ontario plant, you will find that they have just been sold. And I think this may have been some of the delay in the site plan that came to staff, but we're delighted with their buyers. The company that has changed hands was bought by a company called Cofra. It's an iconic Dutch company. It's well over 100 years old. This is a $22 billion company that is behind this. And I've checked their prospectus online, which is easily available. Their entire footprint is obtained in the Netherlands. All the building, they bring this in from Europe for two reasons. One, the technology, and second, the quality. So it arrives in containers to Montreal and then is eventually shipped. And the site plan is currently in, and staff are working on that. And there's a ways to go forward on that, but they're very excited about it. And they are very complimentary of staff. I want you to know that they are as well. We're looking forward to that. And there may be some bumps along the way, but we certainly will we'll look forward to that. The company at the bottom is a third generation family business, innovative Dutch horticulture. The company has earned a global reputation for their professionalism and their artificial intelligence is what this is. It's artificial intelligence in the horticultural industry, that their facilities monitor the moisture in the air, the temperature, the barometric pressure, and all the ingredients are done by software, and the applications are put in the plant process. And they're really looking forward to coming. Anyway, any questions on that, ladies and gentlemen? Keep moving ahead. Yes, Mark, go ahead.
Is there anything that can be said yet about what's going on in the certified site or the property on Industrial or Water Tower Road or whatever it's called?
Yeah, I'm going to let Jill answer that. As mayor, I have not said anything public on that because I haven't been given the okay, particularly from the owners. I have not had that opportunity to do a meet and greet with them. I wouldn't be able to identify them, Mark, but I can certainly let Jill answer that. And I know that staff too are anxious to get good news out at the appropriate time, but Sheila and Jill would be the ones that would be able to answer that. Any comment, ladies?
Sure. Yeah, probably not too much we can say on the one property over on Industrial and Tower Ave. So we received direction with respect to that. And we will work with interested parties in making joint announcements. That's the next step that we're into at this point.
That's great. Mm-hmm. Okay, and Sheila, any further comments on that? We certainly know that you're extremely busy, and I can assure you that we're all anxious to get this news out. Of course, staff and council thrive on good news messages, but prior to site plan agreement acceptance, I know there's somewhat always holding back until that is approved. But with the horticultural company that I mentioned stated to me verbally that as soon as that site plan is approved, that they will be more than happy to come forward and meet with council and make an official announcement. They're chomping at the bit to get going, and but we're short of making that public announcement of the relationship that we have with Ontario Plant under the new ownership of COFRA. Anyway, I guess the point we're making here is that staff have been very engaged, and we certainly take our hats off to them, and we are progressing on this. I know it takes time, but Southwest Middlesex is very fortunate to have the direction we have and the interest that we're gaining from these developers. And of course, the Adobe development is Yasser Yemen, Adobe's partner. I have met him, a very nice gentleman, very keen on small towns, loves small communities. He has a sense of identity, and I've had the pleasure of meeting him. And I think we're due for a lunch date probably over the next couple of weeks. John's busy planting crop right now, so he can't take time for lunch. But again, they're looking forward to progressing ahead. Okay, so where are we in the agenda? Any other new business or announcements? It's 12 o'clock. We have and Jill, Sheila, step in if I'm closing this too quickly for you. No announcements. Future meetings, September 1st, 2022. That'll be our last meeting. And no questions regarding that? And I move that we adjourn at 12 o'clock noon. Thank you very much, staff, and thank you, committee.